Hello everyone, my name is Jolly Green, and welcome back to another episode. We are back in the time machine, so you know what that means. It's time for another episode of Minecraft Through the Ages. But in this episode, we actually have to go back a little bit further than we did last time. What we've covered so far in this series have been the creative developmental versions of the game, which cover a span from about May 2009 to mid-November of the same year. But there was a little gap in there that we haven't covered yet. And that is actually the first instances of survival for the game of Minecraft. So we're going to jump into those, take a look, and see what is going on, see the differences, and see what gets added from update to update. So let's jump right into it. So here we are loaded up in Minecraft version 0.24 Survival Test 03. So this is the third version of the survival test for the 0.24 update. And as you can see, the big change in this update is that the world has life again. They've added mobs. So we have skeletons, creepers, zombies, and pigs. So the skins for these mobs are very similar to the ones that we've all grown to love. And the zombie really hasn't changed at all. Same with the skeleton. The only noticeable difference you'll see between the mobs added this version and their current skins is the creeper. So as you can tell, the creeper is considerably darker than the skin today. But when he hits or is hit, he actually lightens up. And that actually brings us into the next feature added to this version, is if you hit tab, you have an arrow. So it's an unlimited amount of arrows that you can just keep on shooting and kill. Let's get this pig. Got him. And the mobs don't drop anything in this update, but they are also not very hostile. Like, they kind of track towards you. These couple do, but you see he already got distracted, and I hit him a couple times. In the game today, they wouldn't stop pathfinding to you once. Yeah, see, like, I just hit him back there and now he's already distracted. So they're not very hostile at all. Another big difference with the behavior of the mobs is that creepers actually don't blow up to attack you. They do a melee attack. They just bump into you and do a pretty strong melee attack. But then when they die, then they explode. You'll also notice that when blocks break, they actually drop the item. So that's a big change from the previous version that we were playing, where it was all creative. So if you broke a block, it was just gone. And when the blocks are broken, as you can see, they do have quite the glow to them. Well, I guess that brings us to the next update, quite swiftly, is that they've added a score. So you can only see the score when you die, and the score is based on how many mobs that you actually killed in that session. So here, killing zombies gives you 100 points. Killing skeletons is also 100 points. Killing creepers is 250, and pigs is 10 points. So here you see we got 1210 as our final score. And we also don't have an option to respawn. The only option it gives us is to generate a new level, and there we have 3 world options. So we have a small world where the ocean's pretty well visible from all 4 sides. So it's clearly a pretty tiny world. We have a normal world where you could still pretty much see the ocean all around, but we've got a bit more space to work with. And then we have a huge world. where you can barely make the ocean out in the distance pretty much on all four sides. Here, I mean, we're closer to the ocean on this side, but still, you can see the difference in the size here pretty nicely. After playing this version for a good few minutes, I've discovered a few things about it that kind of differ from the other versions that we've been playing. The first big difference that I've noticed is that the items in your hotbar can actually stack up to 99, but once you have 99, you can't pick up any more of that item. It caps out. I've also found kind of a quirky bug with the entities of the items that are kind of bobbling there. If you go to place an item in that spot, like I'm right clicking now, it won't allow me to place it there because that entity is there. If we get rid of this, then there, it lets us place it no problem. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't see it noted in any of the Wikipedia. The next bug that I actually found has to do with a feature that we haven't mentioned yet, and that is if you press the B button, instead of giving you an inventory like it did in previous versions, it actually produces a sign. And that sign says, "This is a test of the signs. Each line can be 15 chars." So I guess we'll never know what a char is, but... So a bug that came with the addition of the signs, if you hit a mob next to the sign, I guess it doesn't happen every time, but see that sign? Every time we hit this zombie, the text turns white for a second. So I just thought that was an interesting bug that kind of came in with the addition of these signs. So we have one more thing to test. So with this being survival, obviously the main goal here is to survive. So that is why they have equipped you with a weapon, a way of fighting back. I believe you can still smack him with your hand. Oh, he smacked me first. So it's just overall easier to use the arrow. If you can actually hit them, that is. But once you've taken a little bit of damage, how do you refill it? Is my big question. The thing I want to test here is the only food or food-like item that I've been able to find in the game is the mushroom. And if we pop it off, even the sprite looks pretty broken. But let's give it a try. We're gonna right click. It did damage. That hurt me. What? Not at all what I was expecting. So the red mushroom definitely hurts you. Okay. Good to know, I suppose. We don't really want those anymore. Let's see if we can find some brown mushrooms, see if we get the same effect. All right, so we found some brown mushrooms. We've taken damage from a creeper, so we're gonna pop these off. Yeah, see, the brown ones are broken too. Oh, get out of here. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. I'm going to die. Oh, no. Okay. Yes. Okay. Brown mushrooms do heal your health. So it seems the only way of healing yourself from damage is by eating the brown mushroom in this version, which may be an issue depending on how many you get on World Gen. So I don't think there's any other way of obtaining the mushroom at the moment, other than finding them. So that adds a whole nother dynamic to the game. I would not last long playing in this version. I can tell you that much right now. Maybe someday we'll get see how high of a score I can get playing the first ever survival. But I don't think that day is going to be today because we have other versions to go over. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I did it. I have gone around in this first version of the survival test that we have, and I have made it my personal mission to try to kill every mob that I could find to get the highest score possible. Just wandering around on the surface now, I am not finding any more mobs. Of course, in this version, they don't respawn yet. So what you get on World Generation is what you get. So I've gone around and killing everything that I could find. Pigs, zombies, creepers. And it looks like we've done it. We've killed all the mobs, and that's the only way of increasing your score. So I think I've got the highest score possible. I just want to check the caves and make sure there's no mobs hiding underground. So checking the caves down here, I would say I've probably gotten at least most of the mobs on this world. I've checked the surface and checked the caves. And I'm not seeing anything else. I found one additional zombie since the last clip. But he was quickly dispatched, and now I believe I've isolated myself in this normal sized world. So let's see what kind of score we got. And of course, the only way to view your score is upon death. And with no mobs in the world, it makes it a little harder to die. Which I guess is ideal for a survival instance. But when you want to see your score, it's not so ideal. So we're just going to keep on pillaring up here and see if we can get a big enough fall to kill us. Oh, there's a pig. Do you see it? I'm going to have to go take care of him. That's an extra 50 points we don't want to miss out on. There. With the pig taken care of, we can pillar up one last time. Just do a quick confirmation that there's no mobs, and then jump to our death. I'm not seeing any movement here, so I would say that we're probably good enough. Tally-ho! So our high score for the first version of Minecraft Survival is 5,510. Now on to the next version. And here we are in version 0.25_05 of the survival test. So this update, there's not much for additions to the game. The biggest one being in the pause menu, we now have the option of saving and loading the level. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get it to work right. It just freezes up the game in this current version of it, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We also have some visual updates as well. We have a limited amount of arrows, as you can see just over the right hand side of my hotbar here. It does say we only have 20 arrows. So that does add a considerable more challenge. It also shows us the score right in the top right hand corner, which is super nice to have. Let's kill us some skeletons. Yeah, see, they've made the mobs more aggressive. So these skeletons will now actually shoot arrows at you. And apparently give a grenade effect of arrows upon death, as demonstrated here. So they have made the mobs more hostile. They'll actually notice you from further away now. In the last version, as you saw, the zombies, when they got out of a certain range, they just lost interest in you and didn't really care anymore. But these skeletons, they're picking us up from quite a distance. But they do drop arrows on death, so that is a handy addition as well. So that way you can keep refilling these, and it's actually starting to give them that functionality that they currently have in game today. Oh, we're running low on health. So we're gonna see if we can find some food. So we learned in the last version that the really only food source we have at the moment is mushrooms, brown mushrooms to be specific. They've actually made it a little easier to get those brown mushrooms. If we just smack this pig a couple times, it's hard to see because of the broken texture on the sprite, but we get mushrooms from killing pigs. So that, in theory, is pretty near infinite food source on like in game now, because mobs do respawn. That's another change added to this version, is that after time mobs will just respawn back in. So that being the case, you could just keep killing pigs and get all the mushrooms that you're going to need, kill skeletons to get all the arrows that you're going to need. Oh, geez, we got an army coming after us now. This is going to be the end of us. It's been nice knowing you. And, oh, we made it. Had a mushroom to eat. Geez, this one's fast. Why are they so fast? Well, I can tell you why they're so fast. They've actually increased mob speed in this version to make mobs harder. And man, are they. It actually now gives us the option upon death to load the level if you've already saved it. Unfortunately, like I said, this freezes up the game at this point, and we have to reload. So I'm going to do that. All right, so we've got just one more feature to test out here that was just added in this version. And supposedly, mobs will now attack each other, and I want to see it. So if we can get these skeletons to shoot each other, I think that's going to be our best bet. Okay, so they're not really targeting each other. I've seen them hit each other a couple of times, and yes, they'll hit each other, but they don't really target each other. Like, they don't really target much, to be honest. Like, it's a miracle that they were able to get me. That covers this version. On to the next one. And the last version of the video here, we are in Minecraft version 0.27. Those keeping track will realize that we skipped a version. What happened to 26? And so it turns out version 0.26, there's proof of its existence out there. Just nobody has a copy of it, or at least none that's been made public. So we're unfortunately unable to play that particular version. So most of the updates that we talk about in this section of the video are actually updates that were brought into the game in version 0.26. But to start that off, the first update that we have is they added rain. But there's no weather cycle or anything yet. It's just a toggleable option by hitting F5. They've also removed the ability to press B to get a sign. So according to the wiki, spiders were added this version, but I've been exploring here now and I don't see any spiders. Oh, and no sooner, like, I'm not even going to cut that clip because, I mean, it was literally like I spoke of a spider and then bam, a spider showed up. But there it is, right before our eyes. So spiders have been added, as you can see. So with the spider, that gives us 10 points upon its death. And they're assholes. But supposedly they drop 0 to 2 mushrooms upon their death as well. So it's very similar to the pig, just another source of mushrooms. They're just super hard to kill. The jumps! The jumps are awful! Get out of here! There. Got him. No mushrooms yet, though. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or should I say hotbar? As you can see, they've given us a present. In this version, or should I say version 0.26, they've added TNT, which they give the player 10 upon spawn in the world. And that's the only way that you can get it. We're going to give this creeper a taste of his own medicine is what we're going to do. Oh, Eddie, set her off there. Die, creeper, die. That was fun. So, as you can see, they do damage. They do a hefty explosion as well. And they do have that chain reaction effect that we see in Minecraft today. So they are definitely starting to flesh out this game. and make it very similar to the game that we all know and love. This version also added a number of blocks to the game, a majority of which are unobtainable. There's mossy cobblestone, bricks, bookshelves, iron blocks, stone slabs. All that's great, but what are we going to do with it? One thing we need... Well, I stand corrected as I live and breathe. When you harvest coal, you get stone slabs. So if coal ore drops half slabs when you mine it, what do you get from gold? Gold block. Wouldn't that be nice? And what about iron? An iron block. 3 iron blocks. Jeez, if only. The only other notable change to mention is a change upon the score. So zombies give 80 points upon death. Skeletons give 120 points. Creepers give 200 points. And as you can see from my score up there, spiders give 105 points. That's all we have time for today. So with that, we're gonna end the video here. And as always, feel free to follow me over on Twitch. Like and subscribe for the video here. And I will see you next week with an adventure in Minecraft as we start the shopping district of the world and set up a couple shops of our own. And with that, we send off, and I hope everyone stays jolly.